Constitutional face-off, is that now inevitable, is my first big question. Can states simply nullify central laws? Will the Modi government block Punjab's farm laws? Are we therefore heading for a confrontation between the centre and the Congress-ruled states in particular? I'm joined by Nalin Kohli, BJP spokesperson. Also joining me is Sunil Jakhar, Chief of the Punjab Congress, and Siddharth Luthra, Senior Advocate, to understand the constitutional position. First, let's come to Nalin Kohli to respond, because Nalin Kohli, the sense now is that the Congress-ruled states are saying you did not consult us before passing these farm laws. We believe these farm laws that you have passed in the centre are anti-farmer. We therefore reserve the right to amend them. How do you respond? The lack of consultation, you might have heard Manpreet Badal suggesting this is very much like what happened with Notbandi. You pass something which can have an effect on millions. Should they not have been consulted?
Well, that's what Parliament is for, Rajdeep. Anything that's passed in Parliament is basically based on a discussion, and it's a whole parliamentary process. Now, if someone decides not to participate in that, the onus doesn't fall on the government, because the government introduces in Parliament, and thereafter what happens has to be part of that discussion or that process. But
it's the states who are affected. Sorry to intervene, Nalin Kohli. You pass it in Parliament, but it's affected the states. Why could the Prime Minister not have called, let's say, a meeting of all the chief ministers, all the agriculture ministers before you pass a law? Because now, if these laws are being bypassed or challenged, you could be heading for a confrontation.
No, I think confrontation is part of democracy also. Here, the Congress party and the Congress-ruled states are choosing that path. The Prime Minister and the BJP aren't. I ask myself a simple question. Since when has choice become a problem? Has anyone dismantled the agricultural mandis? Has anyone dismantled the APMC structure? Has this acts or these acts of Parliament or this in any way said that the MSP will not be there? Has MSP not been increased by the government of India? At the moment also as we speak, is it not being procured? I am unable to understand that what existed exists. There is no change. What has happened is more choices there, and under trade, which is on the concurrent list, you've opened up agriculture to farmers who wish to take the benefit under that. If they want to go to the APMCs, as they may wish in Punjab or anywhere else, they will go because it's not dismantled. So here's a case that I'm unable to understand. Since when has choice become a problem? So today, if you can go and buy one shirt in one shop at a fixed rate, tomorrow if you are offered a choice to also go to another shop, where is that in any way prejudicing anybody's interest? This is a political...
So Sunil Jakhar, respond to what Nalin Kohli is saying. I think effectively what he is claiming and what the central government is claiming is that you and others, and you, I mean the opposition, is basically misleading the farmers to suggest that these central laws would mean the end of the minimum support price. According to the government, if anything, they have raised the support price in recent weeks for rice and wheat. So why is the Congress-ruled governments crying foul at a time when, according to the government, all they are doing is opening up choices? You can go to the private producer, you can go to the state mandi.
Rajdeep ji, when I hear Nalin Kohli ji, I basically hear the arrogance of majority, that they have passed it in the parliament, that this should be the writ which should run across the country, but it is not so. What we have passed in Punjab Assembly yesterday is not just a piece of legislation. It is a collective voice of the collective will of people of Punjab. And when we talk about why should we not take Mr. Nalin Kohli or even the Honorable Prime Minister's word at its face value that they say MSP was there, is here and will remain, is because it's not written in the paper, in these three laws which they have passed in the parliament. It is what the Shanta Kumar committee said, and it is what one of the most senior ministers in the BJP government, Mr. Nitin Gadkari, said a few days after these bills were passed ordinances were notified on the 5th of June. And he said this continuation of government purchase of food grain at MSP is a burden on Indian economy. This shows the mindset of the BJP party. Rajdeep, this is a matter of point of view. If you look at farming as a trade opportunity, then that's your view. But for us, it's a way of life. And even for when you dislocate a small village, when a dam is being built or some factory comes in and everybody asks for a kind of a, what you call social impact survey should be done. And here what we are trying to do is, we are going to do away with the entire way of life. For us, it's a way of life.
There is nothing, Sunil Jakhar-ji, there is nothing in the legislation which says the government is doing away with MSP. Let's be very clear. Let's not. You can argue that the bill does not say specifically that MSP is a statutory right. But it wasn't a statutory right even when the Congress was in power. My limited point, what is it in this bill that leads you to believe that the government is removing MSP? Where is it removing it?
They are giving a non-level playing field to the corporates. That's the problem. The same arguments were advanced when Airtel and all these people were Geo Telecom was brought in, and what they have done to BSN and all they came in was that we're giving free kind of unbelievable prices to the telecom consumers. And look what have they done. Once you have a monopoly, this is very well known. This kind of the corporates with the financial strength will run down all these APMCs in maybe a couple of years. It's not being done tomorrow. They have to first build up a structure, a whole setup to handle these kind of food grains. But you also know, everybody sitting in Bombay and Ahmedabad knows that the after pharmaceutical industry, it is the food grain trade which has the highest profit margins. They want to eat into this and they want to take over. The fight, as you said, is a battle not between center and states. It's a battle between the farmers and the corporates. They are trying to corporatize the farming sector. They are what Modi ji started with, Rajdeep ji. He started saying that Congress Mukt Bharat. Now what he is trying to do is, he is doing Kisan Mukt Kisani. Kisani rahegi, kisan nahi rahega. They will be, can you imagine one of these big industrial houses running farms up? What will happen to all these people? Who has ever talked to them? And if they're so convinced,
you believe that this is the fear of the future. It's been said before by others also who oppose the bill. I take your point. Nalin Kohli, you want a quick response before I go to Mr. Luthra for the constitutional position? There is a sense that, again, it comes back to it. There's a fear, and it's a fear that a farmer has at the end of the day, that a year, 4 or 5 years down the line, the entire process of procurement of food grains will get corporatized. That this is the first step towards it. And that could, particularly for the small and marginal farmer, leave him almost in a situation where he's dependent on these corporates.
And also, please ask, do we believe Mr. Gadkari or should we believe Mr. Tomar?
Okay. Go ahead, Nalin, respond.
I think this is a new way of looking at it. I personally respect Mr. Jakhar. I know him also, and I respect the family and their contribution to the Indian to development in India. But I think that's also not correct. I mean, now are we saying, is Sunil Jakhar ji suggesting that Mr. Gadkari can't have a point of view? So Article 19 applies to the Congress leadership. It doesn't apply to anybody in the BJP. Well, let's go back to the law. Where does this act anywhere say that it's dismantling the APMC or MSP? And then the proof of the pudding is in eating it. Agricultural budget was 25 to 30,000 crores when Prime Minister Modi came in 14. Today it is almost 1,50,000 crores. 10 crore farmers have received 94,000 crores in terms of the transfer under Kisan directly into account. The MSP has gone up for rice, for soya bean, for wheat, for pulses. Hing is not even grown in this country. Can you believe it? Asafoetida, we import 750 crores of it every year, 1,200 tons, and it comes from Iran, Afghanistan, and Uzbekistan. India couldn't even do cultivation of asafoetida. Now, finally, we are looking that we should cultivate it in the high reaches of whether it's Laol, Spiti, or whether it is in Ladakh. I mean, it's easy to sit down and give a lot of gyan, which is what the Congress party does, without looking at the performance or the track record of a government. Prime Minister Modi's government is a government that performs. What they are doing is trying to create a constitutional crisis because an act of parliament of constitution. What they are doing is purposely creating a situation which, in my estimate, and I'm sure Siddharth Luthra ji will probably expand as a senior lawyer, is that they are trying to create a situation that something comes in the court, and as we say, that humne to koshish kiya.
Let me turn to Mr. Luthra. Nalin Kohli, let me turn to Mr. Luthra. Siddharth Luthra, are we heading for a constitutional crisis if all the Congress-ruled states decide to amend the farm laws and bring in their own farm laws? Because agriculture markets and lands, Mr. Luthra, are state subjects under entries 14, 18 and 22 of the 7th schedule of the Constitution. Therefore, the states can frame laws covering them. The centre has introduced the farm reform bills under entry 33 of the concurrent list that allows the central governments to frame laws on the control of production, supply and distribution of products of any industry, including agriculture. How do you see this? Can states independently of the centre frame their own laws or amend central laws, or will they now need necessarily presidential assent?
I must tell you, Rajiv, the position is very well settled. The Constitution provides under Article 246 that while each legislature has its own domain, in the event of a conflict, it is very clear that to the extent that there is an overlap, the central law will prevail, and that's the fundamental constitutional principle. Having said that, even if the state law gets presidential assent, we will have to put it to what we call in law the pith and substance test. Is there an overlap? And to the extent that there is an overlap, the state law will have to give way to the central law. Today, you have a situation, though the central law has come under the concurrent list, the central law is in existence. We are reaching, unfortunately, I believe, a situation of constitutional indiscipline where legislatures are not respecting each other's domains and jurisdictions. Of course, these matters will at some point be taken up in court by one party or the other. But I think it is more important that the language of the Constitution is so clear. It's been settled not once, but a million times. And today what's happening is...
But Mr. Luthra, agriculture markets and lands are state subjects. Are you telling me that the Punjab Assembly, Rajasthan Assembly, Chhattisgarh Assembly, Maharashtra Assembly cannot frame their own amended laws?
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that to the extent that it is covered by a law which is framed by the center, the overlap will not work. And that is what has to be seen if there's an overlap. Because if you look at Article 246, it's very clear. Legislature can make power, but subject to 1 and 3 of 246. Sub-Article 2 of 246 says Parliament has the power to make laws. Now, the whole point here is Parliament has made a law. Legislature has its own laws. Now, one aspect is if they both operate in different domains, they will coexist if they operate parallelly. But if there is an overlap, then the central law will prevail. And there is, of course, as you rightly said earlier, there is also the issue of the presidential assent that will be required if necessary. So these are issues which will have to be seen.
Right.
And the concern that I believe is, as you had pointed out, that this matter eventually is heading towards court. I don't think it's a constitutional crisis, but definitely it's going to land up in court, and the ultimate victim or the ultimate loss will be to the poor farmer, because if parallel mechanisms exist, whether it is one or the other, we can't have the MSP going away, as has been pointed out by you very clearly. So therefore, even if the laws have been brought in by the center, there has to be a mechanism for ensuring that the whole purpose of agriculture is not lost on one-upmanship.
Can I just take that to you, Mr. Jakhar, as a final word? Are you inevitably, I asked this to Manpreet Badal as well, are you determined in a way that if necessary, this must go to the court? Let the court settle it, the domain of whether the state has the domain to pass laws when it comes to agriculture?
Rajdeep ji, I believe center has its authority, but every authority, at least in an authority through democratic means, has equal amount of responsibility also. We have fulfilled, our state government has fulfilled the responsibility towards Punjab and towards its farmers. And we do not expect our central government to just exercise the authority and not be responsible. We are integral part of India. The farmers of Punjab have delivered, even in spite of all the obstacles and whatever happened in COVID and every other circumstance, Punjab has delivered. Why do you want to undo what is a proven thing? Why do you want to recreate the wheel?
Right.
There may be some lacunas which can be fixed, but all we need is a patient hearing that there are fundamental flaws. There's one particular thing, if you have a moment, Rajiv ji, when you talk about MSP regime staying or not staying is different thing. There are two separate things about MSP. MSP is one, fixing of the price. Purchase at MSP is a different story altogether. Of all the 23 crops for MSP, which is fixed, only 2 crops, paddy and wheat, is being purchased at MSP. Rest everything is selling far below MSP. So what we are concerned is government purchase, the open-ended government purchase, which is happening in Punjab. We are protecting what is with us right now, what we have. We are not trying to work towards the Chet's dream of having MSP for every product, which is, I don't know, when will that be possible?
Well, there will be those farmers, as I told, there will be those farmers, as I
We are
told,
not
Punjab's.
looking for a confrontation. Last thing.
Yes.
If they do not want to talk the farmers who were invited, then I would request all the 7 ministers who have been assigned to go out, if they can hold rallies in Bihar, they should come here to talk to Punjab farmers themselves rather than holding a webinar. Why are they so scared of?
No, that I think a simpler way. Why can't the Prime Minister possibly invite all the chief ministers and the agriculture ministers and settle this? This can be settled surely through consultation and not confrontation. The last thing we need in the times in which we live is more confrontation in our politics. Nalin Kohli, Sunil Jakhar, Siddharth Luthran, good to have a discussion without the noise of news. Thank you very much for explaining each point of view so clearly and lucidly.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.